Hey everyone, today we're going to be reading from the original My Little Pony G5 comic, issue 12, The Case of the Missing Cupcake. Some years ago, a case file crossed my desk and changed everything I thought I knew about Maretime Bay. It was from before my time as sheriff, but as I hoofed through the pages, I knew it was something I'd never forget. Mosey down this trail with me as we explore the coldest case in the history of Equestria. This is Maretime Bay, the case of the missing cupcake. And out. Now that is a perfect intro. You know, when you suggested this whole podcast thing, I was skeptical. Whoa, put a hitch in that giddy up. I was gonna say, you were right. Look at this. I've been sent so much new information. I really think I might be able to solve this. That's what I meant. I'd have never gotten this far without your help, Detective Zip. Sure you would have. Maybe not the whole using social media to revive attention on a cold case aspect, but you cared enough to want to. Speaking of, you ready to record the recap for the next episode? Welcome back. Before we get into some updates, let's do a quick recap for any pony just joining us. Pansy Silverbell was heading to the Maretime Bay Bake-Off, where she was the 4-year reigning champion. While Pansy never arrived at the Bake-Off, we learned that she spoke to at least 2 other ponies while she was en route. Ponies who may just have the answers to a mystery no pony has been able to crack. What kept Pansy from entering her cupcakes? And more chillingly, why did she disappear that day, never to be seen again? Let's reflect on what we know about the pony at the heart of our story. Pansy started a baking club to connect all kinds of ponies in Maretime Bay. She spent most of her time volunteering. She was known to be kind, thoughtful, and really loved soup. Pansy was a bake-off champion known for her unbeatable cupcakes, and it's clear she was planning to continue her reign that year as well. Or was she? Seems like Pansy might have had some rivals, but we here at Maretime Bay haven't been able to identify these commenters. Could be trolls, or could be a clue. What we know is that Pansy set out, by all appearances, ready to compete, but was never seen again. It seems like this puzzles every pony as much as it does your old Sheriff Hitch. It's so much that some of y'all have sent in your stories and recollections. In today's episode, we're cracking open pictures shared from the Pony Photo Bug Club, who had been out that very day, and caught some interesting things on film. My producer, Zip Storm, asked me to remind you that these will be posted on our Ponygram at Maretime Bay. These confirm the timeline, but have introduced something curious. High stakes for a bake-off and possibly some trouble in Pansy's path? Sheriff, what can we do for you? Hey, Rocky, is Jazz here today? Right over there. Wow, that color sure is something. Am I interrupting? No way. Have a seat and stick your hooves in here. You don't have to go to the trouble. I'm just here to ask some questions. Ask away. I think better when I'm busy. I'd like to talk about Pansy Silverbell. Follow me. You must be off your saddle asking me about her while I'm at work. This is a small town, Hitch. Ponies gossip. I'm sorry, Jazz. I didn't mean to. Tell me what you know. Where were you? What you saw? Is that what I sound like? No, you just caught me off by surprise. Pull up a bucket. Are these official questions or info for the podcast? Heh, big fan. And no, nothing official. I want to understand what happened, and since you knew her, I don't know how much I want to say. Does that sound bad? Sounds like you might have something to hide. I have nothing to hide. There I was, just taking a walk, enjoying the day, right? Not a care in the world until ran right into me. She was on her way to the bake-off. I helped her load up the wagon, and, that was it. Honestly, Hitch, there just isn't much of a story here. Well, that's all very interesting, Jazz, but none of it explains why you both look so grim in this picture. I don't know. Maybe I was upset about something else or some pony else. Can you think of any reason why Pansy wouldn't have wanted to win? Well, she was considering opening her own bakery, and the exposure would have been great. Maybe she changed her mind? Are you on Ponygram by chance? Not really, just my Hoofacure art, but that's all on the main melody page. Would you happen to recognize any of these usernames? Sure don't. Probably just, some random ponies? What kind of name is Dahlia, anyway? Dolly, yeah. Why didn't I think to say it out loud? Oh, this is great. I gotta go. I mean, thank you for your time, Jazz. You've been very helpful. Thanks so much for agreeing to meet with me, Dahlia, especially since you're so busy. Oh, this? Nah, it's just an order for the Maretime Bay Bunters Philly League. Tell me, Dahlia, were you mad when you threatened Pansy on Ponygram? Oh, I wasn't mad, just competitive. Wanted to open my own bakery. You know, lifelong dream and all. Sounds like you wanted it pretty bad. Bad enough to make Pansy Silverbell disappear? Ah! Start talking, and it better be good. Oh, it's so good. Where did you learn to bake like this? From Pansy. I promise I had nothing to do with what happened, Hitch. Then why the nasty comment? Because I was annoyed with her. Who wouldn't be? Celebrated baker, helper extraordinaire. She didn't need to win the grand prize, but she was going to. And that made you mad? It made me invisible. Whatever she did, she was automatically the best at it. We argued. Friends sometimes do. And then she was gone. And you haven't spoken to her? If I did, I'd tell her I'd regret everything. That I've tried to make up for it. Can you put that on the podcast? Can you let her know? Sure thing, Dahlia. I'm glad we talked. But their stories left me with more questions than answers, which leads me into today's episode, although my hooves do look much better than ever. Something is missing, and I'm not sure where to look, so it's back to investigating. Don't forget, send in any information you may have, and we'll catch you next time. You've been working all morning, so I thought I'd bring lunch. This smells amazing. What is it? There's this little food truck down by the docks. Been around for ages, right next to the bakery truck. They have the best chowder on Tuesdays, chili on Thursdays. Garlic and thyme and butternut squash. I have to stand up and investigate crime, but can we nominate the chowder for some kind of award? Heh. Awards! Why didn't I think of this sooner? Pansy never showed up at the fair, right? But she did register to attend. I'm going to go see what I can find out. Can you hold down the fort and maybe grab some more of that liquid gold for dinner? I make no promises that involve movement, but I'll do my best. I started by contacting the former judges, all of whom were very helpful. None of them had seen Pansy, but they did confirm she intended to be at that year's fair. And they agreed to talk to me in person. They met me for chili. And shared a very spicy detail that Dahlia had never mentioned. She had won that year's grand prize and used the bits to open her own bakery. But before I could dig into seconds or this new information, Zip shared something extremely interesting. Dear Mr. Trailblazer, I've been enjoying your podcast. It's my first time ever listening to one. I must say I was a bit surprised to hear the subject, since it's something quite close to my heart. I would like to tell you more, but I prefer to do so face-to-face. Could you meet me at the Maretime Bay Dockside Park tomorrow around 2 p.m.? I'll be the pony in a green jacket. A friend. Excuse me, are you here to meet Hitch Trailblazer? Hello, Hitch. I'm Pansy Silverbell, and it's so nice to finally meet you. I can see I've caught you off guard. Where shall I begin? How about here, with a snack? These are one of my most famous recipes, strawberry smashers. The trick to making them is the two sides need equal frosting or else they'll crumble. I got your email. Cookies and friendship have a lot in common, don't they? I knew it. I never meant to run you out, Pansy. Oh, never mind all that. Besides, I didn't go very far. How did I miss this? Every pony knew the soup thing. All this time we've been neighbors? Hitch, all the investigating you did was spot on. I just wasn't ready to be found yet. It took Jazzy reaching out, telling me about the podcast, and twisting my withers to send that email. I ran into her the day I left. She's the only one from the club who knew the truth. This was one of my favorites. Cream of carrot. You two eat, I'll talk. I never liked being the best, you know. It wasn't what I set out to do. All I ever cared about was making folks happy, creating delicious things. I never wanted to be the center of attention. You see, in fact, when I heard of your podcast, I was so embarrassed. Imagine making a fuss over me? I wasn't even sure baking was my true dream. But it isn't Dahlia's fault, or any pony's really. But it was that moment when I saw that my ambitions, my plans, were standing in the way of friendships. Now listen here. I know I should have handled things better, but I felt terribly about how my friends felt. It's every pony's responsibility to be the best version of themselves they can be. But it seemed to me that some of them didn't think they could do that with me around. So I took off for a bit, thought about what was really important to me, and came back quietly, doing the things I loved. Dahlia, I wanted to come over and chat so many times, but I never knew how to start. Let's start with hi. And that, listeners, is how the ending turned into a new beginning. Well, every pony, I met with the anonymous emailer, and I can confirm that Pansy Silverbell is just fine. So the good news is that we can consider this case closed. But out of respect to the ponies involved, I am going to end our investigation here. As much as I wanted to uncover all the details, I forgot the most basic rule of investigations. There are many sides to every story, and some sides prefer to remain quiet. What I'd like to leave y'all with is this. Pansy Silverbell wanted to put good into the world, and if you look around, there's plenty of good to find. And on that, we here at Maretime Bay intend to remain just as curious about our world, which is why we have another case we'll be diving into very soon. And listeners, it's juicy. So thank you for listening. And before we go, we'd like to thank our first and newest sponsor, Blossom Bowl, located at the Dockside Park, open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Until next time.